Hi, today we are going to learn a new chapter 3.1 SSC board. So the name of the chapter is The Night of the Scorpion, right? So the writer and poet was a Nissim Ezekiel, and he is a Indian Jewish poet, actor, playwriter, editor, art critic. He was an Indian Jewish poet. Okay, he was also from India. He is also Jewish also. He was a writer, editor, poet, playwright, and he was a foundational figure in post-colonial India's literary. He was one of the first foundational figure of literary history, specifically for Indian writings of a wider range. Okay, he is also known for the foundational writing of our country. Right, the poem depicts the selfless love of a mother, selfless love of a mother who is stung by a scorpion. The poem is the poem is portrays the selfless selfless love of a mother, selfless love of a mother who is stung by a scorpion. The poet is about whom? The poet is about selfless. Selfless means that the mother is loving everyone, and that mother is stung by a scorpion. Scorpion is a one kind of animal, species, organism, right? You can also see okay, it is a scorpion, right? I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. So the writer is saying that he remembered the night her mother was stung by a scorpion. 10 hours of a steady run had driven him to crawl. Had driven 10 hours of steady run had driven him to crawl beneath a sack of rice. Okay, 10 hours of heavy rain beneath a sack of rice. Okay, so he is the poet is saying that her mother was stung by a scorpion, and after 10 hours of steady rain, which means in 10 hours of continuously rain, had driven him to crawl beneath a sack of rice. And beneath a sack of rice, which means now the poet is talking about the scorpion. It took 10 hours for the scorpion to move. Okay, and parting with his poison. And if I talk about the parting with his poison, flash of diabolic, which means having the qualities of devil and wick, a tail in the dark room, and he risked the rain again. He risked the rain again. So if you see the second stanza, it is saying that in his body there was a poison was a part wise. If I talk about a tail which is like in tail in the dark room, here is the rain again. So in the tail there was a poison which tells scorpion tail. Okay, and then the patient came like swarms of flies. Okay, the patient came like swarms of flies and burst the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one, to stop that, to paralyze the evil one. Then after that, the village people have came like swarms of flies, like they have come so many villagers came in that room, and they have burst the name of God, they have said the name of God so many times to paralyze the evil one. Evil one, who is the evil one? The scorpion is the evil, because they need to stop. Okay, with candles and with lanterns, throwing a giant scorpion shadow. Okay, and with the help of candles and lanterns, they have come with the candles and lanterns, the village people, and after that, the uh, the shadow of the scorpion was very big on the mud baked walls. They search for him on the mud baked walls. Okay, they this village people search for him on the mud baked walls. He was not found. The scorpion was not found. They click their they click their tongues. They click their tongues with every movement that the scorpion made his poison. Then after that they click their tongues with every movement that the scorpion made his poison move in mother bloods. Okay, with every movement that the scorpion made his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. Okay, so after that they click their tongues, like they have talked about their tongues, and every moment the poison was spreading in the mother's blood. And then till now you have understood. So the first, the poet is saying her mother was stung by a scorpion. Then after that, that then village people had come to find to find the scorpion. May he sit still, and they said, may the sins of your previous blood be burned away tonight. They said. What they said? So they said means like this village people have said, may he sit still. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight. They said, may your suffering decreases the misfortune of your next birth. They said, may the sum of all evil balance in this unreal world against the sum of good become diminished by your pain. May the poison purify your flesh of desire and your spirit of ambition, they said, and they sat around on the floor with my mother in the center, the piece of understanding of each face. So specifically, these people have came and they have circled the mother, and they started saying that to the name of God, like may he still, may he sit still. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight. May your suffering decrease the misfortune of your next birth. Okay, may the sum of your all evil balance in the real world. Right. So here in this paragraph it is explaining that when her mother was circled by the village people, and the village people is saying that like what situation is happening with you, it is happening for your benefit for the future. Okay, and now the more candles and more lanterns and more neighbors and more insects and the endless rain. Okay, the rain was there, the candle was through, and then my mother twisted through and through, groaning on a mat. Okay, so her mother was actually in a painful situation on the mat, like she was twisting, and my father, skeptic, rationalist, my father, one who is not general belief. Rationalist, a person who believes in reason and knowledge that, or knowledge than opinion and belief. So first of all, a father is not believing all this kind of thing, trying every curse and blessing powder mixture of herb hybrid. He even poured a little of paraffin. He even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe and put a match to it. I watched the flame feeding on my mother. Like the poet said, like the poet seen the flame feeding on her mother, and then I watched the holy man perform his rites to tame the poison with incantation. And there was a man, he was performing the rites, ritual and rites to incantation, with the help of incantation, and after 20 hours it lost its sting, and after 20 hours it lost its stings, and my mother only said, thank God this scorpion picked on me and spared my children. Then after a period of time, then after so much suffering, the mother is saying that thank God thank God the scorpion picked me, not my children. Right? So from this poem actually we can understand that like uh, whatever whatever problem the mother had faced, she only care about their children, right? So specifically in this poem, if you imagine, if you visualize, like there is a one poet and he talks about her mother. Okay, he talks about her mother. Okay, he talks about her mother. Then after that he said that one day her mother is stung by a scorpion, and then she is still suffering. Then the village people came. The village people are doing the rituals and all, right? After doing the rituals and all, her father is not believing on this kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to stop.